I'm a full-time video editor at the age of 20, and over the years, I've learned a couple of tricks on how to edit faster. Now, why should that matter? Because I get paid per video, that means more videos I can do per day, the more I get paid. So editing faster earns me more money. Videos that took me 8 hours to edit, almost a full day, I can do in 3. Videos that took me 3 hours to edit, I can do in 1. And that's all because of my method that I'm using called the Typewriter method. Now, I'm gonna explain why it's called that later, but the point is, the faster you edit, the more money you can make. So let's just jump right into it. Step 0, organization and folders. Now, before you even touch your timeline, you need to organize all of your files. Now, there's multiple ways you can do it, to each their own. Every single person has a different method of their workflow, but for me, it's very simple. I have right here on my screen, I have download assets. These are general assets that I use for most of my clients. In here, I keep all my backgrounds, my music, my graphics, images, anything like that I use for most of my clients. And then I have client-specific assets. For example, this one specific client right here, download folder, all of their videos, whatnot. And then I just go into whatever I'm using and boom, right here, I have all of the assets. I have their specific video, their screen recording, their screenshots, their logos, whatever. If you don't keep things organized, you will be costing yourself hours of editing time for no reason. So please organize your folders. But don't make it too complicated and have like 16 different folders where you can't find anything because you forgot where you put everything, and each time you have to click through it like, oh, where is this specific asset? I need to go, oh, it's somewhere in this folder, it's somewhere there. Don't. Make it simple, easy to follow. That is it. So part 1, the video itself. Once you have all the assets that you need, what you do, of course, is just drag it in your timeline, and this is where the editing starts. Let me show you how my video editing looks normally and why it's called the Typewriter method. The principle is, instead of making a cake slice by slice, you make it layer by layer. Now, what do I mean by that? We'll be handling each specific action from start to finish, and then we'll go back and then add on top of it. So the first thing that we do is, of course, we have right here the raw footage from the client, let's say. And of course, you just have to go through it, cut out all the parts that you don't need, all the buts, whatever's, all the retakes of the same thing, and cut out everything that the video doesn't need. What I usually do is I transcribe the video. While this is transcribing, I can start editing. I usually follow along by the audio waves right here, and I just cut out the stuff because he's just checking if the microphone is working. And also another thing I do, when you press on your keyboard the letter L by default, it will speed up your playback speed. So when you're doing the rough cut and you have the transcription of the video, you can easily follow along while playing double X speed, so you can save yourself a lot of time while looking for those bad takes and looking for those mistakes. So right here, finish transcribing, I can see pretty much everything here, and I'll just...
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another video. We are going to cover 800 plus FICO score secrets that you probably know about but aren't yet using.
20 minutes later.
And boom, we're done with the rough cut. We cut out all the the buts, all the parts that the video doesn't need, and now we get into the next step, which is adding markers. Now, I don't actually like using the marker feature specifically in Premiere Pro. I use something different, which is going to kill 2 birds in 1 stone, which is adding backgrounds. Now, while you are watching the video, you probably saw spots where like, oh yeah, this right here, there's going to be an effect here. Oh, maybe he's talking about money pops up. Maybe there's a background where you need an animation, you just put in a background there. So what I do is I just come here, drag in the background, label it a different color so I can easily see it, and now I just watch the video on 2x speed again and add a background where an effect needs to be. You're not actually making the effect yet, you're just basically marking it with a background so you know where an effect needs to be.
A few moments later.
Not all these areas that have this specific background is going to have an effect where you put animations on a background. It's just a way to indicate where one needs to be. And also, this is a good way to check when you open the video and the whole thing, you can actually easily say like, oh, right here, there's a sizable gap. Maybe I need to add something there. And you just go through the video checking like, oh, maybe I can add something here, because you notice there's literally nothing happening for a full minute. There's almost nothing happening, so you might as well just put something in there. Now that you mark the areas of the video that actually need editing, you can start adding the basic assets. So for example, right here at the complete beginning of the video,
Filing for bankruptcy, got that in your mind to...
He's talking about filing for bankruptcy. So what can we do? Now, it's pretty short, so we can't really add real animation there. So we can just make a pop-up question. Something that immediately catches the targeted audience's attention. And just like that, we're done. Now, you see, it looks really basic. There's no actual animations. It's just text on screen. Leave it like that. Do not add anything else yet. Right now, what we're doing is basically making a sketch of the video. Instead of finishing this part and then moving on to the next, we leave it like this and then we just go to the next part. And then you just do this one by one. Do not add any drop shadows. Do not add any animations. Just add the assets. So for the next example, let's listen what he says.
Yes, I was in my 20s. I was like, oh my gosh, the banks are so stupid. They're giving me money. This is free money. I'm gonna spend it however I like.
Okay, so he's talking about him being in the 20s and spending the bank's money with a credit card. Now, what do? Is, of course, we open up our folder that should be organized. I have a second monitor where I keep all my folders open at all times, so it's way quicker. But you can do the same with one monitor, it doesn't really matter. And you just type in, for example, man. Okay, what do we have here? This looks like him. Drag it in the timeline. Now, what do we else need? We need a bank. So let's just go into the folder and type in bank. This looks good. That looks like a good bank. Okay, we have bank. What else do we need? Credit card. Okay, a couple credit cards to choose from. Let's pick this one.
I was like, oh my gosh, the banks are so stupid. They're giving me money. This is free money.
Free money. Maybe we can add money, or we can add some text over on top that says free money. So I don't know, make the assets bigger. Move the guy to the left. Move the bank to the right. Credit card. He had the credit card, so let's give him the credit card. Turn it a little bit. And add on top text something like free money in quotation marks. For the sketch part, we are done. Do not animate anything else here. It looks like shit because this is a sketch. And once you get into the flow of doing these things, you just jump from one effect to the next one. So you do this one, we did the first one, we did the second one, now we're gonna move on and do the next. And we just keep doing that until this entire video is done with sketches. And also another bonus tip that I implement all the time is I actually don't edit each video in a separate project file. Even though you can, it's inconvenient because I can do this instead. Now, I have this thing called a main sequence. I just use the nesting feature in Premiere to actually compress them and make them actually usable, but I edit multiple videos usually in the same timeline. Now, why do I do that? Because I can copy and paste effects over and over. And let's say in your original video, this guy's talking about the exact same thing. So what you can do is literally just take, copy, paste, go back to your original project that you were working on, paste it, drag it where it needs to be, and then adjust it from there. Maybe he's not talking about cars at all, so you can just delete that. And now you take everything, you move it to the center, make it bigger. And there's just another tip on how you can edit just a bit faster. Now let's say your entire video has been done. You did all of these rough sketches, you did it here, and you did all of them pretty much horribly. What you do now is actually add all the animations and the drop shadows and so on. And you go layer by layer. That's why it's called the typewriter method. Because what you do is you do one line of just setting out backgrounds, you push it back, now you start adding assets on each background or whatever the effect is needed, and then you boom, again, slide it back, and then you add the drop shadows, the animations, all this stuff. So at the complete beginning again, filing for bankruptcy. So let's just drag it right here. Boom, go into your effects. I suggest using presets. These are all the presets that I've made myself. You probably have some presets of your own or a preset pack of sorts. If you're not using presets on each individual time making the effect from scratch, for the love of God, make presets. So I just have two presets right here, shadow light, shadow soft. I like using both of them at the same time. It just looks really nice. And now I also type in rise effect. I have regular text rise, I have rise slow, rise rotate. I just put in the regular one and now it looks like this.
Filing for bankruptcy, got that in your...
Just like that, it is done. And now because you have your effect tabs open, all you do is just go each individual one.
Bankruptcy.
And you just copy and paste the effects from your presets. Instead of doing each effect individually and then each time starting from scratch, oh, what do I need in this one specific part? Oh, I need these assets. Okay, let me add the effects. Oh, let me add the animations. Let me add this, let me add that, let me add the sound effects. It's completely brain dead. do it layer by layer instead of slice by slice. When you make a cake, you don't make it slice by slice. You make it layer by layer. There's a reason for that. It's way quicker.
1 hour later.
Okay, I've skipped a little bit into the future and I've done pretty much the entire video except the sound effects. Now, my philosophy around sound effect is really simple. I usually leave it for the last because, to be honest, in my opinion, I think from all the video editing aspects, it matters the least. That doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It matters, but it matters the least. The effects, the actual content of the video matters way more than the sound effects and the music. The music and sound effects just add to the video. It doesn't make the video. So I do it last. Now, of course, I just pick whatever music I want for this video, whatever feels right. So just go into my download assets folder right here, go through all my songs that I have saved and just pick one. Let's say this song right here is the perfect one for this video. Just drag it in there, adjust it however you want, add another song, change them out, or just remix tool it till the end of the video. If it's something more boring, more info based, you can have a really basic techno beat on it, like super light, super almost ambient, and just extend it to the end of the video, because to be honest, people are so focused on the actual material that the person is talking about that the music doesn't really need to build that much emotion once they're in the actual explanation phase of it. In the beginning of the intro, it does matter, you're just hooking the people in, but afterwards, it really depends on your niche and the type of person you're working with, honestly. So let's say hypothetically the music here is done and all we need to do is the sound effects. Now, I'm a lazy bastard, so what I do is I usually keep the sound effects that I used in my previous videos, and right here I have a bunch of sound effects already saved, so I just copy and paste it into my new project, and these are usually the sound effects that I use. Or if you don't do this, or you don't have a specific project you're copying over, I use a specific app called Soundly. Now, it's completely free, there's a premium plan on it, and I'm not sponsored by them, I just actually like this product. And what you do here is literally you just have access to a bunch of sound effects where you can literally just pick whatever effect you want and just drag it straight into your timeline. And you know, the best part is you can sort everything, you can even sort by type, sort by almost anything, and you can also upload your own sound effects, favorite them and everything. I have my own sound effects right here. I have what, I have a pistol, I have a bear trap, bold hits, camera shutters, anything I want. And honestly, its free plan isn't bad. You have so much access to so many different sound effects. And if there is something that they don't have, just straight up upload your own sound effects here and then you just have them. What I love about this is that I literally can just take a specific part of a sound effect, just drag it straight in, instead of actually going through my folders and like, oh, where's my music, download assets, sound effects, okay, I'm looking for a specific one, camera, and then I drag in the effect, then I listen through it, and then I have to, oh, I like this part specifically, so I have to cut here, and I have to cut here, and so on. That is way too fucking slow. If you just put on Soundly, and you can just easily, boom, just pack it in here, and you're done. It is so many times quicker. I really suggest that you use it. Even the free version is more than good enough. I don't have the paid one because I just don't need it. What I do is I just copy a list of these sound effects, most commonly used ones for each part, and I just go one by one like this. Like, I just take this sound effect, which is a typewriter sound effect, for each text-based effect. Like, oh, text appears on screen, I use this. So, boom. One for filing for and bankruptcy, and I just add these two.
Filing for bankruptcy?
The text just disappears along with the background, so I take a whoosh effect and
Got that in your mind.
just like that, I'm done. I take this, Control X, I move to the next one, and I watch the effect that I made.
Bankruptcy. So this is probably one of the
Bankruptcy, okay, another text one. I just add this at the complete beginning.
This is probably one of the topics.
Okay, he's typing some stuff. Cool thing that I have Soundly installed, and I can just type here, keyboard. I can't spell, fuck. And just like that, I have already a couple favorited ones. This one, not so much. Oh, I like this one. Let's just say I want this part, and boom. Oh, a bit too long, whatever. I just make it shorter, so I just make it here. Extend it a little bit, do this, so it just smooths in. Make it maybe quieter because it's a bit too loud. And
Probably one of the topics that we haven't covered too in depth, mostly because.
And another whoosh effect because the effect just goes down. Once you're done with that, looks good, select all your sound effects, Ctrl X, and move on to the next part where you need to add them. It is way quicker than each time you have to look for the same effect. If you have effects that you use consistently exactly the same for specific parts, then just copy and paste an entire list of the most common sound effects that you have and just go over effect by effect until you do all the sound effects.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Okay, now you are done. You have done all of the effects, you've done the animations, you've done the sound effects, you've done the music, you've done everything. So what's left to do? Export. Just Ctrl M, name whatever the video is, and export. And that's literally my entire workflow. There's not much more to it. It's not really a golden bullet as much as it is 100 silver BBs, as Hermosi says it. And I hope showing off my workflow maybe gave you some ideas. I don't know, maybe using Soundly, maybe using it layer by layer. But whatever that is, every single person has a different workflow. I completely get that. My method won't work for everybody. But the point is to analyze your workflow and make it more efficient as time goes by. This is not something that happened overnight. This took me maybe an entire year almost to adapt, and I know that a year or two later, or even a couple months from now, maybe I'll pick up a different editing method and see what goes faster. I'd like to hear your thoughts on your workflow, so just leave something in the comments below so I can read it. Maybe there's a different part that takes you way too long, maybe looking for b-roll, looking for sound effects, the right music, and so on. Just leave all that stuff down in the comments. I can make a video about it and hopefully be a bit more useful to you. So that's enough for now. See you.